Hey guys, so for today's video, I have a one palette tutorial. I really enjoyed doing this last time and you guys have been loving them. Actually, you guys are like, when are you gonna do your next one? So here it is. Today I'm gonna be doing the Modern Renaissance palette by Anastasia. Let me pick it up and actually show it to you guys. A lot of you guys, it was kind of in between this and the Tarte Pro palette. I asked you guys on Twitter which one you wanted and this little guy won. So we're using this for today. This is such a gorgeous palette and the quality is of course amazing, as always with all Anastasia shadows. So I ended up creating a super matte kind of smoky look. I think you guys will absolutely love it. If you are interested in seeing this all matte kind of smoky eye look using only the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette, then make sure to keep on watching. So you guys know already that I'm obsessed with skin prep. So the first thing that we're gonna do is prep the skin. I wanna go ahead and use this first. This is the Urban Decay Rehab Makeup Prep Hot Springs Hydrating Gel. My face feels a little bit dry today. I did moisturize already, but that was like a good 2 hours ago. So I kind of want to use this as like my moisturizer, even though I do use this as a hydrating primer. So next I'm going to take some of the Marc Jacobs Coconut Primer, and then I'm also going to mix in, I should have opened this beforehand, mix in some of the Smashbox Photo Finish that I am running out of because it's my favorite. Mix that up. And this is gonna work as my primer. Woo! See how hydrating the skin looks now? So last, I'm gonna do the Smashbox primer, which I actually need another one. This is just the primer water. I love this more. I don't really notice it do much in terms of priming. I just love it more for like hydrating the skin and giving the skin that wetness so that when I apply the foundation, it's almost like how you wet the beauty blender and wetting it gives it more of a natural vibe. I feel like this does the same in a different way. Anyways, I'm gonna take the Marc Jacobs Do You Dewdrops and I'm just gonna apply a little bit right on the tops and also on the nose, above the brow, Cupid's bow, and a bit on the chin. And I'm just gonna blend that out. All right, so now that our skin looks fresh and healthy, we're gonna move on to foundation. So for foundation today, I am taking the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation in the shade Desert Beige. Desert Beige is usually a bit too dark, so I might have to mix in some of Golden Beige, just for those of you who are interested in like my foundation shades. A lot of you guys like to know what shades I use and stuff. And I love how this has a spatula. I'm obsessed with this foundation, by the way. It's like, honestly, it's holy grail status. I'm just gonna go ahead and use my beauty blender to blend all of that out. And since this shade is a little bit dark for me right now, I'm just gonna blend a little bit down the neck. I know that once I do my concealer, it'll all mesh in. So moving on to concealer, I'm absolutely addicted to the Tarte Shape Tape. I have not been able to get away from it at all. I've been using it like every single time I do my makeup. You really don't need that much product, but I apply a lot, so just ignore that. I'm just gonna also apply it down the sides of my nose just to help kind of almost reverse contour it. A little bit on the Cupid's bow, some on the chin, on the nose, and on the forehead, and I like to apply it in the longer way. And of course, we're just gonna blend that out with a Sigma 3D HD blender. My absolute new fave for blending out concealer because of the sharp edges. It works so perfect. Taking the Wet n Wild contour palettes, I'm going to take both shades, this highlight shade and also this highlight shade, which I've clearly hit pan on, mix the two up and apply that to set the under eye. So taking the Anastasia foundation stick in Amber, I'm just gonna go ahead and bronze up my face. And I always just like to go through the edges with the Beauty Blender or the Sigma blender, either or. So taking NARS Deep Throat, I'm just gonna apply that on the cheeks. So to bronze up, I'm gonna take the Hourglass Luminous Bronze Light Bronzer. And now for highlight, I'm gonna take Heat Wave from Estee Lauder. You guys, this highlighter is perfection, like in every sense of the word. So perfect. For the brows, I'm going to use my Holy Grail brow product. This is the Anastasia Dip Brow in dark brown. I'm just going to quickly kind of probably cut this part out of the video, so I'll be right back once we move on to the eyes. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is just take that same Wet n Wild shade and set my eye. I did prime my eye with the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. I've just been using that same concealer for eye priming lately, and it works. You don't have to spend extra money to buy an extra product. So for today's one palette tutorial, I'm so excited to bring out the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. I've mentioned before that this palette I think is so amazing. I've mentioned also before that I've never been like a huge fan of the color combos in the Anastasia palettes. I love their shadow formulas, I love their single shadows, but I've never been a huge fan of the combos. Like the shades put together normally look very mismatched, but with this palette I feel like you have so many different looks you can do all in one small little palette. So I'm excited to play with it today, but I will be honest with you guys, I have no idea, like not even remotely the tiniest amount of an idea of what I'm gonna do. I have no idea. I don't know, maybe I'll take Golden Ochre, even though I don't know how this is gonna show up on my eye. I don't think I've ever used this shade before. Whoa, my mirror is so dirty. All right, that's better. So I've never used this on the eye before, I don't think, Golden Ochre. I don't think so. Okay, so it comes out to be like a little bit of a taupey shade. It doesn't really show up too much on my skin tone though. So you know what, for today I just randomly decided let's do kind of a classic brown, like let's do a lot of browns, and I'll kind of, this is gonna be like my little inspo. Let's just go ahead and see what we come up with here. I'm gonna use a bit of burnt orange as my transition. I'm only gonna apply a little bit though, like these shadows are super pigmented. So as you can see, this isn't looking pigmented on the eyelid, but it's just because I'm only applying a tiny bit because I just want it to be like a light transition. These Anastasia shadows, like, I mean, you guys already know. I don't even gotta say anything. They blend beautifully. I always like to say my little analogy for shadows that blend beautifully, it's like powdered butter. Like that shit just melts right on you. A great little tip is to keep a towel right on your little makeup desk as you're doing your eyeshadow, because my favorite thing to do is blend eyeshadow out with a clean brush, because I find that you get cleaner lines and it kind of helps to really fade it and not look muddy. Like sometimes you apply the perfect amount of color, but then when you go to blend it out, you're just applying more color and more color and more color. And you're not really getting to just blend the original amount that you put on originally. So that's like one of my little tips. Now take some of raw sienna. This is a really nice kind of tan shade, and I'm just going to apply that right here. And then I'm also gonna take it and bring it here as well. And don't be afraid to take a tiny bit of product and just like bring it out to kind of wing it. That's like one of my favorite eyeshadow styles to do and techniques, because it just gives you like this beautiful, like super sultry kind of squinted cat eye look. I love it. So I'm gonna go back in with sienna and just kind of apply more of that. And I'm switching over to a Sigma E25. One of my other favorite things to do is use the same shade just with different brushes, and you kind of get different pigmentation just from each brush and different application techniques. So it almost looks like you're using different shades, and it just gives really great dimension. So now I'm gonna go in with this beautiful, super rich brown, and we're going to put that right on the V. Talk about fallout. I probably should have tapped it off beforehand. Probably gonna have to fix that with some concealer. Let's see if it works when I do remember this shade has, yeah. So it works when you tap it off. That's why I always tap off the excess product, or else the excess product will go on your cheek. And it ain't cute. One of my favorite things to dust off fallout is the Morphe. This is totally rubbed off, but I believe it's the Morphe M500. And it just really helps to like, I mean, this is a really dark brown. If this is like not a super dark brown, this will like get rid of all the fallout. But because this is a really dark brown, it probably will only get rid of some of it. Yeah, it's a really dark brown. It only will get rid of some of it. But this is a great brush to dust off fallout if it's not super dark. I'm gonna use this same brush. This is the Morphe M513 to blend it out, but I've just kind of cleaned it off. So I'm gonna take Burnt Orange and I'm just gonna apply that on the lash line. We're gonna pretty much meet up this outer area just to give that outer winged cat eye look. A little bit of raw sienna. Focus it out here and then bring a little bit in here just to really fade it in. And then a little bit of that very rich brown. And again, don't forget to dust it off when you want to blend it out. So taking a tiny bit of that dark brown that's kind of left over on the brush, I am going to bring it all the way in and just kind of fade it. This is going to give such a nice like smoky eye effect. And I just want to do a bit more blending here because I actually want to keep the inner part of the eye pretty naked and open. And I think I want to keep this like an all matte vibe. So you just want to really make sure it's kind of ombreing in. So I'm just going to take this Morphe E11 brush, which is kind of like an angled liner brush, and I'm just going to create a little bit of a wing. It's just going to help create a little bit of that sharp edge. And then I want to blend it out. And we're going to leave the lid completely naked. We're just going to apply a little bit of this Makeup Geek Full Spectrum Liner in Espresso. For mascara, I'm going to take the new L'Oreal Lash Paradise mascara. And lastly, for falsies, I'm going to take the Espresso falsies in the style Voila. You guys know this is like my fave, and every single time I wear them, you guys freak out because they're so beautiful. So now for the lips, I'm going to go ahead and line with MAC Oak Lip Liner. And then I'm going to take a little bit of Dose of Colors Supernatural and kind of fill that in. To blend the lip liner with the liquid lipstick, I'm just going to go ahead and take Oak again and just kind of blend it out around the edges. So I'm going back in with just a little bit of that dark brown from the Modern Renaissance palette and just deepening these edges. So to finish off the look, I'm going to spray some of this Marc Jacobs Coconut Primer. You do have to give it a very good shake since it is kind of lotiony. If you don't shake it up, it will come out in like big chunks, which will ruin your makeup. You don't want that, so shake it up a bit, and you can get a good 3 to 4 sprays out of this until having to shake it again. And make sure that when you do, sorry, I'm trying to catch the sprays that went over there. Make sure that when you do spray it, you press down the nozzle all the way so that the product can flow through flawlessly. So that is it for the one palette tutorial. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I absolutely love how this look turned out. I feel like it's super classic, very matte, like matte lip, matte eyes, super simple as well. It does take a bit of blending since you are working with deeper shades on the outer corner, but once you kind of master that, I love it. I feel like it's such a great date night look, but I feel like you could also wear this in the daytime if you just throw on a gloss to make it look a little bit more, I don't know, natural, but I mean, really, you can wear any makeup whenever you want, right? There's no rules. So please don't forget to request what other palette I should do for my next one palette tutorial down below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and of course, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. Mwah.